So here we are on the banks of the Papa River, the last intact, right, river that's not been dammed or doesn't have oil palm all around it at the headwaters. Why are you here? Why is PACT and the British government supporting something like this that brings power to rural communities with the natural resources, harnessing the natural resources that are in their environment?
Well, I'm really proud of our PACT program, because through it we can work with communities, we can work with NGOs, local people on small projects to help Malaysia decarbonize or avoid becoming heavily carbon dependent in their electricity systems. And here we're looking at micro hydro transmission. You mentioned the Papa River. There's water here. Water can be harnessed. The power of water can be harnessed to generate renewable and carbon neutral electricity. And that's exactly the kind of thing that we're hoping to support Malaysian government, Malaysian people on.
So do you think there's something here that we're doing here that can be shared with wider Malaysian, states and communities, perhaps even in the region and maybe the world?
Yeah, well, I very, very firmly believe that. And one of the reasons that I'm here today, seeing the project on the ground, is to get a sense of that wider context. And what's really impressed me is the way that the community pulled together. It's really dependent on working with the community. It's not something done to them, it's done with them, co-created, so that they can stay in this beautiful place, they can live here, and yet have the benefits of electricity without generating carbon. And I think that set of relationships and the way that works is something that maybe we can look to replicate elsewhere, not just in Malaysia, but through the UK PACT. We're working in other countries too. You might be able to share some of those learnings more widely.
So you're at the end of your Sabah trip. You've been here 5 days, 6 days, something like that. Yeah, you've been, you went to the East Coast. You've been in a government meeting. You've met our chief minister. You've now been here. You've been in some of the worst roads. Share any reflections that you have, maybe top 2 or top 3.
It's not my first time in Sabah. I think it's my 4th trip here. But it's been 18 months since I was here last. And I've been struck again by the extraordinary beauty of Sabah, the extraordinary biodiversity. Malaysia is one of the most mega diverse countries in the world, and this must be one of the most mega diverse parts of that mega diverse country. So there's that. There's also the sheer scale of the landscape. I was visiting ESCOM, and to see the enormous amount of coastline that they have to cover, the enormous amount of sea. And here, our trip out here has been truly heroic in even getting out to visit this community has been a challenge.
Yeah.
So for them, just transporting the basics. And I mean, again, that underlines the importance of them having their own local source of power that they operate, they run, and it's done in a way that makes it very easy to maintain, it's robust. So it's just a wonderful project.
Last question. So what do you think is maybe a transformed role of diplomacy to learn between nations, to grow into the future between nations, one where there is more equity?
I think the way that countries do development has definitely changed over the years. And I guess in the old days, it was something that wealthy countries came and they did it to poorer countries. It's not like that anymore. We realize that just doesn't work. You work with the communities, and in that way, you actually get a much, much better product, because you don't come in with some high-tech solution that you think might work. You work with the communities to find out what they actually want and need and what's sustainable. And it's that sustainability that's the issue, because the world is full of development projects that have just been left to abandon and crumble. Big infrastructure projects and so on. This is the kind of modern way of doing development.
So when you go home tonight, dinner table with the family, what are you going to tell them about Sabah? About this trip?
Well, I'm a bit wary about talking too much about Sabah, because last time I was here, I visited the Danang Valley. And I went back and I told them about the extraordinary beauty of the Danang Valley. And ever since then, my kids have been pestering me. When are we going to go to Sabah? So if I talk too much about how great it is, they'll just immediately start pestering again. But determined that now Sabah is opening up at the beginning of April, that we will come back and spend some time as a family.
Yeah. Well, we hope you do.
We will. Thank you.